First and foremost, I want to give all the honors, the praises, the glory belongs to my Lord and Savior, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Wahavakar Kwadash. Honors to the apostles that are in the Holy Spirit, and to the hopeful elect across the globe, and to the few, the very few brothers and sisters listening and learning in the hopes of being saved within these last days, because we are living in the last days of the last days. I want to speak about programming. This lesson is going to be about programming, right? Because whether you know it or not, there's a level of programming throughout society. Okay. And most of these people, they're programmed. Okay. They're what you call demonic bots, right? And the brothers, we got to get this information out. Information is key. In war, information is key, right? So we're going to bring this out. We're going to go to Psalm 64 as well, right? Now, there's something called beta waves, gamma waves, and theta waves, and I forgot the other few ones as well. These waves now, what do? They basically control the mind to a certain extent. Now, the people that are higher up, they don't want you to know this. They don't want you to know this, because this is how they're able to control you. Now, we're going to go into it. Psalm 64 as well. It says, "Oh, hear my voice. Oh, power, Yahweh Shai, in my prayer. Preserve my life from the fear of the enemy." This is King David. Even King David had enemies. He had wicked people that were scheming, plotting. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, from the uprising. Insurrection means from within, right? So, example, espionage. Espionage is when someone comes from within and infiltrates that group, or infiltrates a country, or infiltrates some type of structure, right? And it says, check this out, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. So that means from within, right? And yes, some of these groups have been infiltrated, right? Who whet their tongue like a sword. So these people, they're whetting their tongues like a sword and bending their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. So they're bending their bows, they're shooting them arrows. This is through legislation. This is through laws that suit the rich, that suit the corrupt. They bend the laws. They shoot their arrows. That's why it says in Ephesians 6 and on down 13, put on the whole armor. Fiery darts. So a dart is an arrow. They do this through legislation, right? And most of the people, they're under mass hypnotism. And these waves are being used, right? Like I said, beta waves, theta waves, gamma waves. There's different waves. And these waves, you will have them on your television. That's why television is the highest level, one of the highest levels of programming. Have you ever watched people that sit by the television? They look like they're under some hypnosis, because the television gives off what, 30, I think it's 30 HZ. I think it's 30, right? That's enough to hypnotize you. That's enough to brainwash you. Now, TV, what was the purpose of a TV? What was it used for? What was it used for? Well, first, it was a money-making scheme, and a TV was not really to have your children sitting down and you and the whole family and you gazing at the TV. A TV was, it was a military weapon, the television, just like a laptop. Your laptop was for military uses only. It wasn't to stare at, right? But you can use it, remember, you use it for good and bad, right? But there's mass hypnosis through the television. Now, I'm not saying, no, don't watch television, and if you choose to do that, then you can do that. But it wasn't meant for that. Because what was you doing before there was any television? You were going out, you were speaking to people, you were communicating, you were getting out in nature, right? So that's another way to dumb you down. That's where you get the word TV, television, tell-lie. They tell lies. Whoever made that one up. But the main thing is, what do you have? You have channels. And what do they channel? Right? They channel spirits. Yes, they channel spirits through the TV. Excuse me just a minute. We're going to go back to Psalm 64. right? We're going to go to Psalm 64, but we're going to go to Ephesians right now. All right? Go to Ephesians now. We're going to go to Ephesians 2. Now, excuse me just a minute. 2 or 3. Where is it? 2 or 3? So we got Ephesians here. Here it is, Ephesians 2. Where in time past you walked according to the course of this world. I know some of you have heard about this before, right? According to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. So it talks about we were once walking in what? According to the course, the cycle of this world, the cycle, right? To the prince of power of the air. So when you think of prince of power of the air, now Satan's the prince of power of the air. Well, what does that deal with? You know, I'm in a field right now, I'm in a big field, and they can still push frequencies within the air and still have people hypnotized even though they're in the field. You know that, right? The prince and power of the air. The airwaves, the sound waves. How do you think he controls people? Satan controls people because he's the prince and power of the air. Right? Satan has, I'm not giving him no credit, but he has influence over the airwaves, over frequencies. The air is frequencies. Right? The TV, which we're going to go back to what is channels. Right? The 5G, the networks, the communication networks. He can infiltrate that. That's why sometimes you're on your computer, it crashes. Who do you think that is? Right? You know, we can mess with the signals as well. Have you ever heard you're changing the TV here? Zzz, zzz. He's the prince and power of the air. Okay. So now we went to that Babakashah. This is some deep, and I'm not trying to go deep. But this is some heavy stuff. Right? Can he mess with your flesh? Yeah, through signals. Right? How do you think he brainwashes people? Through signals, through frequency. Right? So now we're going to go back to Psalm 64. Through resonance. We've done lessons on this. Through resonance. All right? Psalm 64. We're going to go back to Psalm 64 and we're going to go to verse 4. That they may shoot at secret at the perfect. So we're being shot at. We're being shot at in secret. The people that are in high positions, do you really think they want us teaching it? They don't want us teaching this word. That's why they have these idiots, these fools that are under the influence of the prince of power of the air watching us, trying to get us off our path. Suddenly did they shoot at him and fear not. So they're not fearing. This is, I don't think you understand how serious this is. This is serious. And they encourage themselves in an evil matter. So they're getting together. Different buildings meeting. How can we stop this Bible? These Bible teachers now, they're getting in the way of our plans now. Right? They commune of laying snares. So there's traps. Every time you come out here, that's why there's so much traps. Privily. They say, who shall see them? So they think nobody's seeing them, but the Lord sees them. Yahweh Shai sees them. They search out iniquities. So they also have think tanks as well, right? They do background searches. Yes, what school you went to, who you grew up with, family lines. You're telling me that they have all that information, all of it. Your doctor's information, the whole lot. They do a diligent search. They have scientists, they have neuroscientists, they have all of that stuff. Forensics, all of it. Right? They say, who shall see them? But the Lord sees you. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. They have think tanks. And I've always said this, to the brothers that are in this words, don't think for 1 minute from the moment you woke up, they get notified. So don't think for 1 minute, over the years a psychologist hasn't been watching you, or which is they've been watching you, bro. You know they hire psychologists as well, right? To watch you, to study your brain patterns, how you're thinking, what you're gonna do. And this goes back to Tavistock Institute as well. Huh? And Tavistock Institute had its tentacles in every factor of society. It dealt with, basically Tavistock deals with it deals with programming, shock, trauma, right? Trauma. And they tested what soldiers, right? In World War I, World War II, the effects of trauma. And how would one act when they're put in a position of fear? What's a person's social dynamics? All these things, you're thinking people ain't watching. They're watching. How does he deal with this situation? Let's put him in this social dynamic, right? Let's put him in this environment. Let's see how he adapts. All right? This is heavy, heavy, heavy stuff. They've been testing. Listen, you telling me they don't know how the brain works? You have people that know how the brain works, know how the body works, right? They've been studying people for years. Right? And these are the same people that deal with marketing as well. Marketing, colours. Who do you think's telling these people to wear these colours? Right? Red orange today. This is I keep telling you, these are military tactics that these fucking idiots are being told to do. And sometimes it's not military. Sometimes it's just cult members. Put on red today. But most of it is some type of military tactic. And it says Baba Kishah. But God shall shoot at them with an arrow, but Yahweh is going to shoot at them. Right? You can't beat God, man. Suddenly should they be wounded, should they make their own tongues to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. So their own tongue's going to fall upon themselves. Right? This thing is real. Right? And you don't want to get too much, you don't want to delve too much in the technological side, because you want to keep everything balanced, and we don't want to give Satan any power, because Yahweh has all the power. But the thing I am saying is, a lot of people say, I've watched videos of Satan. Yes, Satan has no power over you unless it's given to him to have a certain amount of power. But what I am telling you, he does have power in the physical and in and the air. Right? So he has influence over the air, over the radio, right, to influence the minds of people. Why do you think so much people are brainwashed? Right? Because he has influence, right? He has influence over the air. Okay? So these are real things, man. Okay? He has influence over the air. And I know this. I know a little bit, because guess what? My granddad was a military, right? What was he? A military contractor. He was an electrician for the military. So I know a little bit. Right? Right? So I know a little bit. Right? I know a little bit of it. I'm not an expert, but I know a little bit. Right? And it's very, very technical. Very technical. They don't want you knowing about this technology. They don't want you knowing this. You can manipulate certain people with frequencies, right? Right? This goes back to intelligence. Intelligence, man. That's why you got to know your enemy. But no, listen, I don't believe there's no form of frequency or MK Ultra that can supersede the power of Yahweh Shai. No. Because if that was the case, then the elect wouldn't be the elect. So that's rubbish. Okay? But this is heavy, heavy, heavy stuff. And the scriptures do say in Corinthians, for we are not ignorant that Satan should have an advantage over us. The only how he has an advantage over you is if you're ignorant to his devices. We cannot be ignorant. Right? Do not be ignorant. This man studies us. This man has been studying us for years. You think these people ain't been watching you? They've been watching you for years. Some people, not all, some. Studying you, man. Your routines, your whereabouts. And all this ties in with AI. Artificial intelligence. I hope they don't cut this video down. AI, artificial intelligence as well. Within that time. How do you think people are able to know your routes? Because when you have your phone, they mark that down because you have a map and they see your routes. right? So that's how they're able to do that as well. They keep a detail of your routes, and therefore they look at their phone and say, yeah, he's going this way, he's going that way. So this is what technology, well, in that time, Revelation 13 and 16, and he calls it all, both small, great, rich, poor, free, bond. I'm paraphrasing this right now. To receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. You know what that is? That's the radio frequency identification. Radio frequency identification. We're near enough to that time, right? So this is how everybody's going to be identified. And this radio frequency identification is the size of a grain of rice. A grain of rice. And this is what they want to put into your palm or your head. For math, that's the main agenda, right? And it's got a little coil on it as well. And they're going to be able to turn this off, turn it off, turn it off. They're going to be able to turn you off if you don't comply. This is what time we're getting into. But then you're going to get these idiots. They're going to agree to it because they're going to think it's convenient. And because they're going to want life to continue as it is. So you can see how things are going. You can see how things are going. All right? Come on, this is serious stuff. I'm trying to make you aware. Right? Don't shoot the messenger. Do not shoot the messenger. Right? It tells us that in Revelation 13 and 16, whoever does not buy nor sell whoever does not receive the mark cannot buy nor sell. That word for mark is charagma in the Greek, which means incision. So they're gonna do an incision in the skin, an incision, a cutting. Look it up. It says stigma. Stigma is stigma 666. Stigma, pricking, marking, embedding. And when you go into that word, charagma, it says branding. So branding, when you brand something, it belongs to you, you own it. So they want to brand the people. They don't want people walking around freely. They want people, they want people to be their, this is how they see the people. They see them as goyim. They want you branded like a horse. And when you brand something, you own it. So that's the agenda, man. Then you got these people that they're just stupid. They're happy with that. They're happy with being slaves. They're happy with being, a good paid slave. And that's where they're going to start pushing the AI. And that's why a lot of people up north, and also in London, but mostly up north, what happened? What happened during 2016? They cut most of the jobs. They went bankrupt. And I'm talking about, the vehicle stores. Why? Because the metal processing and all that, the industrial in terms of car revolutionary, all that, guess what? Instead of a person fixing a car, which you would do, now they have machines. So now you have machines now. What's that going to do? That's going to lay a lot of people off work, and that happened during the COVID. And you have people standing next to machines, about 5 people. The machines are taking over. So this is the whole agenda. Thank you. So that's the whole agenda. Right? They're clapping for me. Yeah, they're going to be clapping for us like that in the kingdom. They're going to be clapping for Yahushua like that in the kingdom. All right? So this is it. This is some serious stuff. Prepare your mind. Prepare your mind, man. It's going to get real. Medieval out here. Okay, real medieval. And we got to be prepared. But I just thought I'd do this lesson to let you know. Remember, lying signs, wonders, miracles, that's all through tech. We're in a time now, and technology has a lot to do with the Bible, a lot. Because that's what they want. That's why it's called the mark of the beast. They want to know everything. And even without that chip, they still know a lot anyway. You know what? With this technology, they can actually catch criminals. Why aren't more people getting locked up? With the technology they were using on me, they definitely can catch criminals. Definitely. With this 24-hour surveillance, bro. Right? And they don't necessarily need to put a chip in your head to find out what you're doing. Right? They don't need to do that. They've got so many other things. Right? But you know what? I'm going to shut off here. Lord willing, let me check the time. Right? It's 7:40. Lord willing, this was edifying. I'm going to shut off here and until the next time. Shalom to the hopeful. Shalom.